Hi, it's Megan. I am a huge matte fan, like a crazy matte fan. Mattes are my absolute favorite thing in the whole wide world. And I'm also a matte bronzer fan, and I like cream blushes. And so when NARS announced this matte multiple concept, I was just all on board because I've been a huge on-again, off-again NARS fan. And what I like about NARS best is, I think, some of their colors are just so vibrant and unusual and gorgeous, and then the quality I think tends to be consistent. So pricey, yes, but usually worth it. So I got a couple of the NARS Matte Multiples, 2 in this video, and then I have 2 more which I haven't decided if I'm going to keep and use or return. So if you're interested in reviews, let me know. So the 2 I got and I'm going to talk about right now are Altai, which is a rose bronze, and Siam, which is a poppy red. So Siam is on my lips, and then it's also used as a cheek, which maybe I should have blended a little bit more. I wanted to make sure it showed up in the video, but looking at the camera, it's kind of bright. And then I have Altai on as well. So I will show you. The other 2 that I haven't decided, I have Laos, which is a rose coral, and Vientiane, copper bronze. So I guess Vientiane is the capital of Laos, right? So Laos. Anyway. They have 6 colors, 4 are kind of blush colors, and then 2 are these bronzers. I much prefer mattes to shimmer, only because I end up putting so much shimmer on my face at the end of the day. Having things like bronzers, blushes, lipsticks that start out matte just makes my life a lot easier. These are $39. We're going to get to the first sticker shock. These are them. You can see I've already got fingerprints on the black. So this is the regular multiple. So the mattes are 0.26 ounce. The regular ones are 0.5 ounce. So let's open one up. And you can see what that means in practical application. It kind of means a lot in practical application. I don't know why they decided to cut the size basically in half. This right here is Siam, a poppy red, and that's what it swatches like. And it is a bold color. It's bright. So poppy red, I looked online because I thought it was going to be more red for some reason. Poppy red, though, is an orange red. And the next one, this one right here, and this is kind of an interesting shade. I cannot figure out what shade this is, and I've asked a couple people, I've shown them my swatched arm and said, what color is this? And I can't completely get agreement. So they call it a rose bronze, and yes, but I see some kind of yellowish orangey undertones. Of the 4 that I've looked at, all of them quite frankly lean a little warm. So I have warm undertones to my skin. I'm kind of warm to neutral. I have a very yellow undertone, but as I've tried different products over the years, I've found that I can do a lot of kind of cooler tones sometimes, some kind of warm to neutral. But I also, given my lighter hair and eyes, I can also handle really much darker blushes than a lot of people. So this is how it looks on me, and I have very pigmented lips, so I think this is a pretty opaque coverage, but this is how it looks with very pigmented lips. Not sure what it'll look like if you've got less pigmentation. So according to NARS, they call this a modern matte multi-purpose makeup stick for lips and cheeks that may be used wet or dry. They say the innovative formula delivers vibrant pops and sensual sun-kissed modern matte hues for lips and cheeks. Use dry, it delivers a burst of high-impact color. Use wet, color melts into skin with an imperceptibly smooth sheer finish. I looked on the NARS site, and they've got a couple tutorials, and I'm actually, if people want me to do a tutorial on kind of face shading, I would love to do it, but let me know, otherwise I might not do it. So on me, used wet, I actually really had a lot of fun. It took a little bit of time for me to get used to this kind of wet-dry concept. And then the 2 colors I have are like opposite ends of the spectrum. Siam is so pigmented. They're like butter. They really melt and blend into your skin beautifully, and I actually like them better with no foundation than with foundation, although I have foundation right now. They just blend and melt so well into your skin, wet or dry. But at first the wet concept was a little tricky for me because you can put a sheerer bit of color on if you wet your finger first or brush or whatever you're going to use, and then touch the product and then apply it. So that took me a little bit of time to master, and that's the first thing I'll say about these. Well, the first thing I'll say is, first of all, the colors are really beautiful if you like mattes. They're just very strong, pigmented, beautiful, beautiful colors. They blend well, they wear well. They last about 6-7 hours on me, used as an eyeshadow or as a blush. And I did use the Altai as an eyeshadow. It's kind of like this, almost not there, beigey brown on your eyelids, which actually works really well. I didn't do it here because I'll tell you what I did instead for the video, but I tried that. It actually was quite flattering. On the lips, they last about 2 hours on me, and I did try the Altai on my lips. It was horrible. It was just so brown, not a good look. But the Siam lasts about 2 hours on me, and what I like about it is that, first of all, it fades beautifully, so it fades evenly and the color wears really well. I get slight staining, not great staining, but slight staining. So that always makes things fade a little bit more nicely, but it just softened in a beautiful, beautiful way as it faded on my lips. And it lasted, I think, 2 hours for a cream blush lip formula is actually pretty good. I also got, if you see here, even coverage on my upper lip. So if you've seen past videos I've done, I tend to have a problem with my upper lip disappearing with lighter lipsticks or less pigmented lipsticks, or a lot of these lighter formulas, which are the blush to lip mix kind of things. They almost never work on my lips just because I get a fading of the upper lip and you can't see the definition. That is not the case with this one. I got no bleeding, I got great coverage, and it's just really opaque, pigmented, and I think a stunning color. So a lot of these blush cheek formulas don't work for me on the lips. This particular one worked beautifully on the lips, which is really unusual. And it melted into my cheek really well. So how do you use these? If you look at the NARS site, they show all these really great ways of doing kind of shading and this and that and the other. So let's start with Siam first. Right here. So, no, that's not Siam. Siam. So what I've done is with the lips, I actually just applied it directly. I like applying it in this kind of form. It's almost like a lipstick. That's the other problem sometimes with these cream to blush formula things. It's really hard for me to get an even application using my finger as a lipstick with the lighter formulas, and then finding a brush and all that, or traveling around carrying it in your bag. It's such a hassle to have a brush when you're using those. So this actually, I can apply directly. It applies beautifully. I really liked doing two things with it though. I really liked applying it to my wrist and then either wetting my finger or applying it like this because it's so pigmented. Putting it here first meant that I got a much kind of lighter application. If I were to just put this directly on my cheeks, oh my god, clown cheeks. But if I did it this way, it worked really well. And then the other thing they told you to do is wet your finger and apply, just to brighten up your whole face, just apply a little tiny bit right along the edges of your face. Wet, so this is going to be too dark because it's not wet. And then a little bit on the top of your nose. What you can also do, which I figured I would do on camera just for fun, is if you put a bright color like this, either in your crease or under your eye a little bit, you really brighten up. I'm going to smear it on that eye. You really brighten up your eye. And also how easy it is even to take a pigmented shade like that and just really blend it away. It's just a beautiful formula for that. See, you get a little bit of brightness, but you can also just really neutralize it or matten it or blend it out or whatever. So this right here on my cheeks, I actually put it on my wrist, or I just touched this and then I applied it. If you wanted a sheer look like I did here or right here, you would use a little bit of water first and you would get a much more muted look. And you can also do that in the lips. You can just pat it on and not get the bright lip that I have right here, but I actually really like the colors bright lip, so I wanted to do it that way. Let me matte it out. Not matte, blot it. So you can see as I'm blotting it, I get little bits on my hand, but not a lot. But you can see how easily it fades and blends. Very smooth, very pretty. So now I've got red all over my fingers, but at least I got to show you how great the formula is for kind of blending. Really nice. The next one is Altai. So Altai I don't like quite as much as Siam. Siam, if you don't like bright colors, this is not for you. I expected it to be more red. I don't know why I didn't look up poppy first and realize how kind of coral based it was going to be. I expected a sheer, like regular, not a regular matte red. That's not what you're getting. Altai I found a little bit harder to work with. It's a great product. Any cream product is a great product. They just sometimes require a little bit more work. I think cream products give you the upside of being more natural looking, but they do require more work. So with Altai, basically, if you see it here, it's a really light shade. It's a warm rose bronze, but I still think there's a little orange or yellow undertone to it, but it definitely does have that rose look to it. I'm going to apply some. So they say apply it like under your cheekbones. And then you can also use it for shading like here, but as you see it on me, I'm pretty light. I'm not super light, I'm pretty light. This shade is a little bit light if you really want easy shading. I think if you're kind of more sophisticated with your shading, then it's a perfect shade because it's a hard, like it's a really natural, easy shade to blend in, you know, just a subtle effect. But if you're not so used to shading, you may not see much effect from it just because you might, I blend it out. So maybe I'm saying me. I find that sometimes I just blend it out too much. I played around with it a lot and it really does do a great job of sophisticated shading if you want to put that effort in. So you can put it like right on the inside of your eyes, you can put it under your cheekbones, you do this little 3 thing that I do with my bronzer, but it's a very light, subtle effect on me with my skin tone. If you've got a darker skin tone than me, this might disappear entirely. I do like it and I'm glad I got it. Matte bronzers like this, like I said, are one of my favorite products just because at my age, any little bit of shading that's very subtle really makes a huge positive difference, but you have to put in a little bit of effort to use this. And I think you have to get used to it. It works really well too if you thin it out with water, and then you can get an even more subtle effect, which is just gorgeous, really gorgeous. But like I said, just a little effort. So overall, I'm really happy with these personally. I like mattes, I like cream formulas, I like this cream formula because it's so easy to use and the colors are so pigmented but yet very blendable. Altai works with my lighter skin tone to get what I actually will use it for, but I probably will use this and then also a darker bronzer with it at the same time, especially in the summertime, honestly. I also like it as an eye color. It's a really natural, pretty eye color. And what I did on my eyes here, with the red now, is I had just used, as they did on the NARS website, they had used they used Copacabana, which was a regular multiple with the sparkles. I don't have Copacabana, but I did have another like product from another company, which is basically just a white highlighter kind of shade, and I put that on my eyes. And that's how they did it on their site. They just used a little bit of this product to kind of highlight and brighten the face, and then some on the lips, and then they used just kind of a white sparkly cream-based multiple on the eyes. So it's just, for me, this is an easy thing, an easy look that I can throw in my bag. These don't leak. They rarely open in your bag. You don't need a brush. You can use your fingers to work with them. This is almost makeup in a minute, but it's definitely makeup on the go, which is something that me as a busy working mom uses. And I like the bright color, but I also have warm undertones, which I don't know how this will look on cool undertones. I'm curious to see people putting it on and seeing how it looks. I'm not sure. I think that's it. If you have comments, if you have these, if you have suggestions, questions, if you think I should do a shading video or also a review on the other 2 I have and not return them, let me know. And please subscribe on YouTube. And on YouTube, I'm doing a novel, Masks, which is about masks and makeup and the masks we wear, chapter by chapter on YouTube. And I think that's it. Bye-bye.